On to Capitol Hill, Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg set to be grilled by House lawmakers today. This after testifying for roughly 5 hours before some skeptical senators who demanded answers about how the social media company allowed Cambridge Analytica to misuse the personal data of up to 87 million Facebook users.
Mr. Zuckerberg, would you be comfortable sharing with us the name of the hotel you stayed in last night?
No.
If you've messaged anybody this week, would you share with us the names of the people you've messaged?
Senator, no, I would probably not choose to do that publicly here.
I think that might be what this is all about. Your right to privacy, the limits of your right to privacy, and how much you give away in modern America in the name of, quote, connecting people around the world.
Here's what everybody's been trying to tell you today, and I say this gently. Your user agreement sucks. You can spot me 75 IQ points. If I can figure it out, you can figure it out. The purpose of that user agreement is to cover Facebook's rear end. It's not to inform your users about their rights.
Joining me now is Professor of Marketing at NYU's Stern School of Business, author of The Four, The Hidden DNA of Amazon, Apple, Facebook, and Google, Scott Galloway. Scott, your take on Zuckerberg's performance yesterday?
It was remarkable and how unremarkable it was. He's the winner here because the bottom line is he didn't screw up. There was a couple good sound bites there, but it's nothing. There was no real moment. Yeah. And D.C. is the big loser. You think 55 adults would have gotten in a room and said, we can't really do anything in 4 or 5 minutes each. Who knows technology? Raise your hand. 3 or 4 people would have raised their hand out of the 55. And they said, why don't we give each of you more than 5 minutes so you can actually drill down? It was the format that made this literally a useless exercise.
That's a really good point.
Can I agree with him 200%?
It was
absolutely. It was remarkably unremarkable. Most of them knew that going in, but it was the opportunity to get 5 minutes on TV. Yeah. That's all it was about. And nothing's going to come out of this other than Zuckerberg is going to say, well, I'm highly concerned about this whole screening out conservative stuff. We will take that under advisement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I think that's a great point, Herman. Scott, look, what does Mark do after 2 days of testimony in front of Congress?
He goes back to work and he does nothing.
Yeah.
And he hires more lobbyists.
Yeah.
There's a lot of job recs out for lobbyists for Facebook. The folks that are about to go gangster on Facebook right now are in Europe, specifically Marguerite Vestager. Europe in the last week has made more progress, if you will, or proposed more legislation against Facebook than America has to date. France is talking about taxing them on their top line because Google figured out a way to do $7 billion in revenue in the UK and pay $50,000 in taxes. They're talking about regulating Facebook and Twitter as media companies in Britain. The GDRP is well ahead of anything we're doing. This is a nothing burger here in D.C.
You see, he was told specifically his notes, they didn't really leak. The pictures were taken of his notes because they were left out on the...
Right, AP photographer got a shot of the notes, the prep work that his lawyers had done for him.
And to Scott's point, he was talking exactly what you're saying. He was instructed, if that came up, to not really say anything about it, to not come out and say, which is interesting, what your take would be on this. He was told, apparently, according to those notes, don't say we're already doing what they're regulating in Europe, that we're already doing that. Apparently it said that in his notes, that he wasn't supposed to come out and say that.
Well, there's been a lot of really serious lies in big tech. Information wants to be free. That was a lie. We not only complied with the tax laws, we complied with the spirit of the tax laws. That was Tim Cook. The spirit of U.S. tax laws isn't that you issue your IP to the Isle of Man such you can suppress taxes in the U.S. High tax domain and increase them in low tax domains. That's not the spirit of U.S. tax law. The most recent big lie from big tech was Mark Zuckerberg saying, I'm not sure we shouldn't be regulated. I'd really like to know if the lobbyists in D.C. representing Facebook are running around saying, you know what, we're open to regulation. That is so ridiculous. They will fight tooth and nail any regulation.
The only thing that Mark Zuckerberg said that I agree with, if Congress passes regulations, you know they're going to be too big and too many, and it's going to keep any challenges out of the marketplace because a new startup is going to have a tough time dealing with it. I agree with you. Leave them alone. Let the customers of Facebook decide Facebook's future.
It was pretty clear based on the questioning that the last tech gadget some of these senators had bought was a Play School Viewmaster. that they have no concept of how even cell phones work, quite frankly. You brought up taxes. I want to bring up this issue with you, Scott. 15 U.S. corporations, including Amazon, found ways to avoid taxes on nearly $25 billion in combined profits last year. This is a report from the Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy. Amazon received a $137 million rebate on $5.4 billion in profits, resulting in an effective tax rate of a negative 2.5%. And President Trump's been attacking Amazon for not paying enough in taxes. But again, this kind of goes to your point.
We've institutionalized a regressive corporate tax structure. Since 2008, Walmart has paid $64 billion in corporate income tax. Amazon has paid $1.4 billion. This is despite the fact that Amazon has added the value of Walmart to its market cap in the last 3 months. So what we've effectively, our tax system around big tech is sort of the Hunger Games. If you survive it and you win, you live a fabulous life and you can avoid taxes. The tax system is so complex and so favors large multinationals that it's basically a transfer of wealth from small domestic and medium-sized companies that only have domestic operations to large multinationals who can afford large tax departments and then can do these unnatural gymnastics to figure out a way to suppress their taxes in high tax domains. Amazon's about to become the most valuable company in history and effectively pay no tax. So the question becomes, when the most successful company in the world doesn't pay taxes, who does pay taxes? And it's simple. Less successful companies pay taxes. You know, Alexa, is this a good thing?
Absolutely. I want to ask you, though, about with Facebook and its future.
Yep.
Do you think that the problem was, you look at, I was talking to a well-known investor yesterday, and he said the government just stood back and did nothing because they have no understanding of technology and they don't want to, quote, get in the way of innovation. That Facebook should never have been allowed to buy Instagram, for example. That they just let the company get bigger and bigger and bigger with no controls.
Well, going back to Herman's comments, I don't think the revolution is going to be consumer-led. I think consumers are lazy and talk a big game about supply chain ethics and then want that little black dress for $9.99 and their Nespresso pods delivered within 48 hours for free. I don't think this is going to be consumer-led. And when 280 million Americans, 213 million of them are on Facebook, you don't really have any choice. In addition, when you have 5 million advertisers and no one advertiser can really hurt you, you're a monopoly. Advertisers have no choice but to be on Facebook. So bottom line, this is a monopoly. I think the answer is to break these guys up. Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, WhatsApp, healthier for the economy.
You can take your mic off and drop it. Great to see you. That was a drop the mic moment. Scott Galloway, thank you so much.